Hi students, I am Subramanya, faculty, Department of Biology, Alpha University College, KR Nagar speaking. I welcome you all to my class on the chapter Reproduction in Organisms, second year PUC, Karnataka, 12th standard NCERT. This is my third class. In the last class, second class, I had begun to discuss asexual reproduction in organisms. I had given you the definition of the asexual reproduction, as well I had given you the explanation for the asexual reproduction, explanation for the definition of the asexual reproduction by considering some of the examples which have been given in your textbook. I had explained you asexual reproduction by cell division in amoeba and paramecium, and I had explained you asexual reproduction by budding in yeast, hydra and sponge. And you can know the details of that if you watch my last video, class 2. And I have to explain you the asexual reproduction in Penicillium and Chlamydomonas. Okay, Penicillium, a fungi, and Chlamydomonas, a lower algae. Both of them will reproduce with the help of asexual reproducing bodies, structures, what we call as spores. And you know, children, a fungi has a body, what we call as a mycelium, and mycelium is made up of a thin thread-like slender structure called as a hyphae. This is the body of any fungi. And I don't want to go to the details of the structure of the hyphae. So this hyphae, all the hyphae togetherly makes mycelium, and it grows in a place which is rich in organic matter. Okay. So this penicillium, it grows on the rottening citrus fruits like a lemon and all. This hyphae will multiply, produces a branch, ramify. At the time of reproduction, what happens? Some of the hyphae produces erect branches like this. These erect branches will further split to produce more branches in the way how I am drawing the diagram. Okay. And the tip of these branches will produce a small thin-walled unicellular spores like this. These small thin-walled unicellular spores are so small, microscopic. By the pressure of breezing wind, they detach and will be carried away to some other place. And these thin-walled microscopic unicellular spores, they are called as a conidia. Conidia, okay, conidia, and this is structure which produces conidia, it is called as a conidiophore. So, how penicillium reproduces asexually? That is the question. Answer for that is penicillium reproduces asexually by small unicellular thin-walled non-motile. Okay, they cannot move by their own, but some of these spores are there which have a flagella like this. They are movable, they can move from place to place, where here it is non-motile. Okay, you have to write this. Penicillium reproduces asexually by thin-walled unicellular non-motile spores called conidia. Right? Next, another question for you. What is conidia? Conidia, again the same information. Conidia is thin-walled unicellular non-motile asexually reproducing spore in penicillium. Right? So now you have understood the way how penicillium reproduces asexually. Now let us go to the next example given in your textbook, that is Chlamydomonas. Students, in Chlamydomonas unicellular algae, its structure is somewhat like this. Okay, it is like this. It's having a flagella. It is like this. So now what happens at the time of asexual reproduction? The protoplast of Chlamydomonas will divide by mitosis like this. It will divide by the mitosis to produce protoplastic units like this, whereas each protoplast unit produced by the process of division will transform itself to produce spores like this, to produce spores like this. These spores, unlike penicillium, in case of penicillium, spores were non-flagellated, whereas here you can see there is a presence of flagella. These flagellated spores which are produced in the Chlamydomonas cell, they are called zoospores. In penicillium, they were called as a conidia. These zoospores will eventually come out of this cell, Chlamydomonas cell, by break opening the cell wall. They are released to outside. So they will swim to other place and then they will develop into new daughter Chlamydomonas. So here the Chlamydomonas is giving rise to many daughter Chlamydomonas through these zoospores by the process of asexual reproduction. Okay, students, so we have considered asexual reproduction by the process of cell division, budding and spores. Spores are of two types: non-motile spores, conidia in case of penicillium, and motile movable spores in case of Chlamydomonas. And I have enlisted examples, some more examples as per your textbook, and the example below this line are all lower plants. And asexual reproduction in case of plants, we call that as a vegetative reproduction. Okay? And to explain this, I will require more than half an hour. First, I will explain why it is referred as a vegetative reproduction and so on. That I will do that in next class. In this class, I will conclude by considering some of the questions which have been asked in your NCERT book as well some other examinations, and so that it will be, a class will be full in itself for you. And in addition to that, I will also consider certain neat questions. Okay? Okay, students, here there is a NCERT textbook exercise question. Why is reproduction essential for organisms? You know that, to continue this species. Question number 2, which is better mode of reproduction, sexual or asexual? Why? You know, asexual reproduction is quite direct and easy, whereas sexual reproduction is quite complicated. It involves two parents of the opposite sex. But one advantage with respect to sexual reproduction is that the organisms, the offsprings born by the process of sexual reproduction shows variations, differences amongst the individuals born to the same parents. And you know, the variations are the raw materials for the evolution. And when the individuals in the group of offsprings shows differences amongst themselves, the chances of adaptation for varying environmental conditions are more. And so because the chances of survivability is also more. So comparing to the asexual reproduction, where the offsprings born are morphologically and genetically identical, they are clones, whereas sexual reproduction, as because it shows variations and better adaptability and chances of survivability is more in case of sexual reproduction. So sexual reproduction is more favorable. Why is the offspring formed? which is a better mode of reproduction, sexual or asexual? Sexual reproduction is better mode of reproduction because offspring shows variation and they do have better chances of survival. Okay, that's the answer for that. And then why is offspring formed by asexual reproduction referred to as clone? You know that they are morphologically and genetically identical to each other, so they are called as a clone. As well, this is the answer for another question, what are clones? Next, how does the progeny formed from asexual reproduction differ from those formed by sexual reproduction? The differences in the progenies formed by asexual reproduction to sexual reproduction. Very simple. Progenies of asexual reproduction are clones similar to each other, whereas the progenies of sexual reproduction shows variations between them. So that's the answer for that. Okay, and to the portion of the topic in this chapter which we have covered until here, these are the questions from your NCERT textbook. So now let me consider some neat questions. Okay children, I have a question here. Question reads, clones are. I have 4 options. Morphologically similar, clones are morphologically similar, genetically similar, both A and B, none of this. So I have chosen a question which is relatively simple. And in your NEET examination, more than 80 to 90% of questions are directly derived from the content of your textbook, especially in biology. So there is a misconception among the students. Now I am preparing for the NEET examination, I am least bothered about the theory examination. I don't want much marks in theory. It's a great mistake. Students, if you want to score well and to achieve, secure a good ranking in your NEET examination, it is must that you have to understand the concept. You should be thorough with the textbook in biology. If you prepare well to face the theory examination, automatically it will yield result. It will give you fruits in your NEET examination. So if you have understood the concept of asexual reproduction, and if you are clear with the definition for the clone, it is very easy to answer the question. Okay? In your textbook, clones are morphologically and genetically similar to each other. What is the meaning of that genetically similar? Okay, amoeba, you see here, amoeba will grow and increase in its size nucleus elongates and assumes spindle shape. There is a construction at the midpoint of the amoeba parent cell, and then it will simply divide like this. So one parent amoeba is giving rise to 2 daughter amoebae, and the nuclei received by these daughter amoebae is same that of the parent. Genetic material remains the same. There is no genetic recombination. There is no fusion of gametes. So they are genetically identical. They do have same combination of genes. And what are gene determinants? These are external characters. The morphological, anatomical, physiological, whatever the characters we have, they are finally determined by the genes. So the clones are the offsprings born by the process of asexual reproduction, which are morphologically and genetically similar to each other. Okay? So clones are morphologically similar, as well they are genetically similar too. So the C, option C is correct, both A and B, this is the correct option. Okay? But one thing which you shall remember very clearly. Okay, sometime if you mug up without really understanding the concept, you may find morphologically similar to be correct immediately. Right? You shall go through all the 4 options and finally you shall decide before choosing the answer which is to be right. And I would like to explain another one aspect here along with this neat question. You see here amoeba it is not a dying, it's a natural death. Okay, higher animals, they die natural death. I die, my children will survive. My body will undergo decomposition, decay. But you see here, this is not a dying natural death, but the body, a cell of this parent amoeba is shared by the daughter amoeba. So you can use the word immortal. Immortal. What is the meaning of mortal? Anything which dies, a natural death is mortal, which cannot survive forever. It is mortal. Okay, here it is immortal, it is not dying. Why unicellular organisms are immortal? So this can be the answer for it. Okay, because their body is distributed among their daughters, offsprings, through the process of cell division. Okay, so let us go to next question. Okay, students, I have question number 2 here. So to answer this question, if you are familiar with the differences between asexual and sexual reproduction, it will be very easy for you to answer. The theory part, content of your textbook as well your notes, we have provided you a very good notes. So question reads, sexual reproduction is characterized by the characteristic features of sexual reproduction. I have told you this already. Two parent participation. Option 1, this is correct. Two parents of opposite sex, male and female. Formation of gametes, that's correct. Fusion of gametes, that is fertilization. Male and female gamete will fuse with each other, that's also correct. Invariably, that's the last one, last option, all of these. So as because all the first 3 options are correct, you can conveniently consider all of these as correct option. Okay, the knowledge of your preparation for your theory examination has helped you out to answer this question. Okay, students, let us go to next question. Okay, student, we have question number 3 with us now. Question reads, name an organism where cell division is itself a mode of reproduction. So you know this. We have discussed this in case of amoeba. Okay, it will grow, it will give rise to daughter cells. A cell division itself is mode of asexual reproduction in amoeba. Okay, so here let me give you some extra points. A parent cell is dividing to give rise to equal sized daughter cells. A parent cell is literally splitting. A fission, we use the word fission. Fission, a single cell has split up to give rise to 2 daughter cells which are of equal size by the fission. So we call this as a binary fission. Amoeba, at the time of asexual reproduction, it will withdraw pseudopodia. It will simply split up to give rise to 2 daughter amoebae, binary fission. Okay, so cell division itself is a mode of reproduction. Whereas in case of Euglena, it will also divide by binary fission. So in case of amoeba, it do not have a particular shape and structure. It's irregular binary fission. Whereas in case of Euglena, it divides longitudinally in a longitudinal axis. It's a longitudinal binary fission. In Paramecium, this example is taken in your textbook. The Paramecium divides by transverse binary fission. Okay, amoeba, irregular binary fission. Paramecium, transverse binary fission. Euglena, longitudinal binary fission. And then these 2 are over. And in case of E. coli, in page number 5 of your NCERT textbook, okay, page number 5 of your NCERT textbook, in paragraph 1.1, while they begin to explain the characters of asexual reproduction, they say asexual reproduction is seen in lower organisms like Protista and Monera. Monera and Protista. So, here monerans are prokaryotic organisms which do not have nuclear membrane. Example, bacteria. Okay, this is the E. coli bacteria. So, at the time of reproduction, what happens? Here there is a DNA. This E. coli bacteria will grow and increase in its size. The genetic material, a naked circular DNA present inside, will undergo replication like this, and two chromosomes, naked circular DNA molecules are formed, and it will form a cross wall like this, and one cell splits into two. Here too the reproduction is by cell division. Okay? Amoeba, name an organism where cell division is itself a mode of reproduction. Amoeba, it's correct. E. coli, it's correct. Euglena, it's correct. So, all of this is a correct option for this. Okay, students, I have considered some of the examples, typical questions, and it is not that the questions given or discussed by us or given in any study material is going to appear in your examination as such. Maybe there are few instances, but they can twist and turn questions in any way. At the time of framing the questions, you shall be ready with concept. You shall be able to apply the knowledge what you have acquired by reading notes and textbook to answer the questions. So, these are the three typical questions which were relatively simple kind. The chapter is easy one for you. Thank you for listening to me. I will come back in my next class considering vegetative reproduction in lower plants. Thank you all.